preschool parents, it's Mrs. Hilliard here, Miss Alyssa as the kids call me. I hope you guys had a great holiday, and I just am here to share another session with you so that you can practice fine motor skills at home. And you can see I have my bins today. Bin number 1, we're going to do a hand strengthening exercise. Bin number 2, pre-writing and scissor skills. And bin number 3 is self-help skills, as always. So in our strengthening bin today, we're going to do beading and block design. So I'm going to set 2 and 3 aside and show you what I have. I have a shoelace or a string, and I have some beads here. And the beads, if you don't have them at home, you can use noodles at home. And I just want to make sure that you guys are doing this the right way. A lot of kids struggle with putting the string through the hole. They'll get it into the hole, but they'll lose it when they go to pull it through. So in order to help them, you're going to use the verbal cue, peekaboo, pull it through, and we use that for buttoning as well. So what I do is I put the string through and then kind of hold it there, and then hand over hand have the kids pull the string all the way through the bead. And a lot of kids really struggle with this, so just keep trying. And you might even have to do hand over hand with the pincher grasp to try to get them to pull the string through. And you can grade this activity by changing the size of the hole on the noodle or the bead. So this one has a little hole. This bead has a larger hole, so that will be much easier for the kids. And then we have little beads. So these little teeny beads, a lot of my preschoolers can already do. But even if they can do it, it's great practice. And what you want kids to do is once they put that string through the hole, you want to have them slide the bead all the way down. And that is a visual tracking activity. So we're working on hand strength and coordination, visual motor skills, pre-reading, because we're doing those visual tracking. This is a great skill, and it's on every standardized test that I administer. So I urge you to practice beading at home. So today, we're going to just bead together. So I'm going to take some beads that I have, different sizes. And kids, if you're watching, you're going to bead with Miss Alyssa. So we're going to do 5 beads today. So go ahead and put the string in the hole, peekaboo, pull it through, and slide it all the way down. Good job. Okay, we're going to do a little bead. Now we have a little bead with a little hole, and we're going to push that into the hole, peekaboo, pull it through, and slide it all the way down. And then we're going to try even a smaller bead. So if you have really little noodles, like elbow macaroni or something like that, it has a little hole, you're going to do the same thing. Peekaboo, pull it through, and use that pincer grasp to slide it all the way down. And you can make a necklace, and you can even color your noodles with a little bit of rubbing alcohol and food coloring. Put them in a Ziploc bag, shake it up, let them dry overnight, and they can have multicolored noodles to make a necklace at home. And they look really pretty when they're done. So also in number 1, bin number 1, we have block design today. And we work on this all the time in preschool. And usually we have 6 blocks handy. So I want to get 6 blocks. And what I'll do, and these are also my beads, as you can see the hole, I build a structure, and then I have the child model the structure. So I'll give them 3 blocks, and then I have 3 blocks. So some of the simple structures are a little bridge, and then you can build a bridge just like mine, kids, with your 3 blocks, and then you have 2 bridges. And hopefully, after you do hand over hand a few times, kids will get that. Just keep practicing. The other activity that we do, the other block activity, is I will build a pyramid or a 6-block structure. You can see it's a little pyramid, and I will have the student look at it for a few minutes and then say, let's knock it down. And I'll say, can you build that pyramid that I just built? Can you build another pyramid? So kids, let's try building a pyramid. You're going to put 3 blocks on the bottom. 1, 2, 3. 2 blocks in the middle. 1, 2, and then 1 block on top. And you made a pyramid. Good job. So keep trying. You guys will get it. And you can change your structures. You can build a train, it's a little train. And then you can build a stairs like this. And then knock them down. And kids, you can try to build the stairs. I'm going to turn my blocks around. There you go. And you can use Legos, Duplo blocks, anything like that. But imitating block design is a really good skill for kids, and it's important for preschoolers. So also stacking blocks, so making a tower as high as you can. And usually by preschool, kids should be able to stack 10 to 12 blocks, but I know some of you guys are still working on it. So just keep trying, and it's always fun to knock it down. So that's our warm-up activity for hand skills and hand strength. So we're all done with number 1. Number 2 is scissors. And I always have straws in my house. And if you don't have straws and you're at a restaurant next time, maybe get a couple extra straws. But these are great for pre-scissor skills or scissor skills because they, when you cut straws, it forces your wrist to stay in neutral. If your thumb is turning down, you're not going to be able to cut that straw. It's very difficult. So it really helps kids keep their wrist in neutral and their thumb pointing up, and they pop all over. And it's really fun to watch them fly. And we do a lot of this in preschool. And then when you're done, you can pick up all your little straw pieces. And by cleaning up, we're working on pincer grasp again. And you can even string them onto a pipe cleaner or a string and make a little bracelet. So let's try popping a straw. You can also pop them into a bin so we don't make a mess. Pop, 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 pop. You guys are doing a great job. So you can pause this video and pop a few straws with mom and dad or grandma or grandpa or your auntie. It's really fun to do. The next scissor skills activity I have today are on index cards. So cutting on cardstock or index cards is much easier than cutting on copying paper because it's not as flimsy. So early learners do a really good job learning to cut on index cards. So the first thing we do is we make a little straight line, and then we might make a curvy line and a zigzag line, and we just have the students cut on the lines. Make sure that thumb is up. You might have to give some support at the wrist to keep the thumb or the wrist in neutral so the thumb is up. And then cutting on those zigzag lines or those curvy lines, those are pretty advanced, so you have to really encourage the student to stop when they get to the corner and turn the paper, and stop and turn the paper. So it's a really advanced skill to be able to turn that paper and stay on the line. But index cards are great, and they're good for even fringing or snipping. So when you're snipping or fringing, just learning how to snip, you could just practice fringing or snipping the edge of the index card. They're also great for shapes. So we just draw simple shapes on pieces of cardstock, and then students can practice cutting out shapes on cardstock. So we're going to cut a square, and I hope you guys are cutting with me at home. You might need some help, just ask for help. You can cut a circle. So I would always start with a circle, actually. Circles should be the first shape that students learn how to cut out. And always have supervision for kids when they're using scissors. Now the thing about using scissors is if you can use kid scissors or little scissors, because if you use your scissors from your kitchen or adult size scissors, the holes are too big and they slide to the base of this joint right here. And what happens is there's no torque or there's no range of motion for kids to open and close the scissors because the scissors slide to the end of their knuckles right here. So they have to be able to keep them out on the edges of their fingers so they can open those scissors nice and wide to make snips. So that's our second activity. Now we're going to do our pre-writing activity. Clean this up. And today I have a cookie sheet, and you can use a cooking pan if you don't have a cookie sheet, but I'm pretty sure everybody might have one of these at home. And I happen to have flour spread out on my cookie sheet. You can use shaving foam, you can use sugar, you can use salt. And what you want to practice doing on the cookie sheet is drawing letters or shapes. So you can draw a shape in the flour, and it's a nice sensory experience, and have your student practice copying the shape in the flour. And then it's really fun to smooth over because it's so soft, and it's a nice sensory experience, tactile experience. And it's also good for kids who are defensive to touch because it forces them to kind of tolerate the touch of whatever you're using on your cookie sheet. So you can also do letters. So practice your name, line down, and across. I don't know if you can see my A and my L and my Y. So it's really good to practice one letter at a time so that you're not overwhelmed and you have lots of room to write and practice. So that's our pre-writing activity today. And it's always good to have a towel or a shirt or something close by to wipe off your hands when you're done. The other thing you can do, if a student has trouble drawing shapes, you can use a lid to a container and kind of push it in to make a shape. And then they can try to copy it. Or they can trace around the shape. So if you have a square container lid or round or any other shape, that would be great practice. Or you can cut shapes out of paper and try to trace those in the flour or the sugar, whatever you're using. And that's it for our pre-writing activity today. Our third box always has fasteners. So this is number 3. And if you have a shirt or a hoodie at home or something with buttons or a zipper, you might want to pause this video and go grab them to practice buttoning. And I know we did this in our last video too, but it's always important to practice fasteners every time you're doing your OT session. So again, with buttoning, we're gonna feed the button through the hole halfway and ask our little ones to pinch and pull. Peekaboo, pull it through. And that's how you're buttoning. So let's try that again. Peekaboo, pull it through. And big buttons are always easier to start with. And your button. And then to open, you really want to encourage, a lot of kids just go like this. You really want to encourage them to pinch the edge of the fabric and pull it over the button while stabilizing with their other hand. So they're stabilizing with their non-dominant hand and pulling with their dominant hand. Okay? And then zipping and snapping. Zipping, I always try to find a big zipper. So don't use those little vinyl ones, they never really work. And again, you always want to do thumbs up. Thumbs up. and put the card in the garage or the key in the hole. Make sure it's down there. That's that reciprocal movement that we talked about in our last video, that ripping paper movement. One hand goes up, one hand goes down, and pull up and zip. We did not talk about snapping, but snapping is really important because a lot of kids wear jeans and they have snaps on them, but you really need hand strength to be able to snap. So you can align the snap for them and ask them to push down on their table. Now your thumb is your strongest finger, so you want to encourage them to use their thumb to push down and listen for the pop. So pop, and you can overemphasize it. Pop, pop, and pop. Make sure they're aligned. And I might tell the kids, sometimes I tell them, look for the little circle or the little belly button here, and then line it up. And they might stand up from their chair to push down so they can use their shoulder strength and snap. Now a great practice skill for this is also using bubble wrap and pushing down with your thumb or your index finger to pop the bubble wrap. That really helps with snapping. So, or pushing your fingers into Play-Doh or putty one at a time. That's also a good warm-up activity for snapping. So if this video is a little too easy or doesn't suit your preschooler, I did make another video that is a school-age video this week with a craft. So you can watch that video too to practice your fine motor skills. And again, you can always reach me on the school email. I'm Hilliard, HILLIARD @sel.k12.oh.us. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.